Hey, RBL coaches and whoever else might be watching this. This is Joseph, your coach of the Minnesota Eon Twins, bringing you a few battle recaps, and I'll get into exactly why. There's a few of them in this video in just a second. Um, but yeah, recap video. We'll have some battles, we'll have some team analysis, and yeah, if you didn't watch them live, you can watch them now as I kind of go over what plays I was thinking about and what I thought about the plays other people made, and you know how this all works by now. Um, so yeah, first up, we have three battles in this video. We ran them back to back to back, one Monday, one Tuesday, one Wednesday, just because I was trying to get some old battles in that had been kind of postponed for different reasons, as well as getting in this week's battle, which is, what are we on, week 8 already, before I'm going to be gone this weekend, so I had to get it in a little bit earlier, thanks to David for kind of working with me and getting that in a little bit earlier on in the week. But yeah, our first match was with the Seattle Scumlords, coached by the Blondito B squad of G-Mars and Survive. Both of these guys were super busy this week with finals and end of school stuff and the trip that Survive is on. So I actually ended up playing a guest coach for this one from the Blondito pack. And we'll get into who that was when we do the match analysis in a little bit, but we'll take a look at their team quick. If you don't know my team, just check it out on the WordPress. You should probably know it by now. This is the Blondito B squad of the Seattle Scumlords. Pretty fun team. Not really a bad matchup for us. We have a pretty good matchup against this team, this squad. And so we'll get into exactly why that is maybe when we get into the team builder. I'm going to try and go through this a little bit quicker so this video is not too long, and I'm sure most of you just want to watch the matches anyway. So that's our squad. Yeah, not much to say about it. For the team for this one, we're bringing Mega Venusaur. Does a good job against Excadrill and Rotom Wash, as well as a few things further down on their draft board. We have pretty normal set, except we're running Hidden Power Flying to kind of hit the Venomoth as well as a Chestnut a little bit harder. Giga Drain is really kind of all we need for the Klefki. Beyond that, I can't remember if anything else there was really important. Yeah, no, just no reason to run Hidden Power Fire in this match, and so Hidden Power Flying will do just as well. A few other options that we could have run, but I thought about running a defensive variant, but the special, just a bulky special attacker, works just as well. The defensive doesn't take hits from Excadrill that much better than the offensive version, and a little bit of extra damage might go a long way in this match. Who knows? Next up is probably the best. I don't know if it's the best set, but the best Komodo set that I've brought yet this season is Leftovers with Dragon Claw, Sky Uppercut. So basically just stab is all we need, and sub Dragon Dance. So we can get up some setup sweeping. We have enough speed to outspeed something with his Scarf, I think. Yeah, +2. No, we have enough speed so that at +2 we outspeed the Mega Beedrill, I think, is what we're running. +1 we don't, but +2 we do. But we should have enough bulk. We can set up really easily on a lot of their mons. Anything from Rotom to, depending on what Klefki is running, if it's not running a fairy, well, it's going to be running a fairy move, so probably not that. We can set up on the Alomomola. We can set up on the Spiritomb. It's pretty good. Soundproof helps us against the Bug Buzz Venomoth, just in case we're worn down. Obviously, it's a 50-50 between soundproof and bulletproof, but there's a little bit more soundproofiness that we'll need. One thing about this is if he brings if they bring Spiritomb with Infiltrator, that's kind of a little bit of a bummer. But as long as we don't get statused early on, we should be good to go and set up pretty well. Yeah, there's nothing that wants to take the dual stabs because Klefki while being fairy is also part steel, so it takes at least a neutral from Sky Uppercut. And it's always fun when, Sky Uppercut is your best fighting type attack. But, that's what the Pokemon Company gave it, so we're rolling with it this week. Next up is Gladys, pretty much what we normally run whenever there's a super strong psychic type like a Latios sitting on the other side of the field. It's Assault Vest, enough to take 2 Shadow Balls from it, as long as it's not like super modest choice specs or something like that. Then we can Pursuit, Trap, and pretty much almost take it out to 80-90%, something like that, and then Bullet Punch can clean up if we need to. That's set. Kieran is up next. This is a little bit more of a fun set, trying to again bring some sort of Z move that can actually put in work. We just need Sacred Fire and Extreme Speed. The last 2 are just kind of filler moves. There's nothing more beyond that we really need for the team. So we have Solar Beam if we want to hit the Rotom Wash or the Alomomola or the Gigalith with this powerful special attack. We're running Adamant anyway because we don't. We need to run Adamant to run Extreme Speed, I guess is the main reason. But we don't need a lot of special attack investment to do a good chunk of damage to either of those 2. And then Toxic's just, in case we need to Toxic some sort of wall, start wearing things down. So hopefully we can finally pull off a Z move in this match. We'll see anyway. Next up is Zeph, our normal, just kind of get us a little bit of momentum, knock off some items, do a little bit of damage if we need to, running enough speed to outspeed whatever is base 110, so Latios, I believe. That'll give us a good opportunity to get a strong knockoff off for U-turn. We got Lumberry in case we need to take on the Klefki. We know with Blondito that they love their yellow magic, so we'll probably be seeing a Thunder Wave at some point in this match. So that can help us negate that a little bit. But yeah, not really any other items we need for this one. Assault Vest might have been nice, and Life Orb is always good. But we'll roll with Lum because I don't want to get paralyzed again, as that caused me to lose last time I played Blondito. And last up, we have Lady Crimson here. Choice Scarf, help us clean up if we need to. It outspeeds the Mega Beedrill. I get to run Modest, which is really nice. It'll help, just kind of clean up anything. He doesn't have a lot to take the coverage moves, so I can throw on Defog just in case I need to. I can help keep Zeph and Kieran a little bit more alive. Everything else doesn't really mind rocks too much, but it's also, with the Klefki on the side, we might get some spikes up, which do a little bit of damage then to the rest of the team. So yeah, that's the squad for, I guess this was week 7 match. We were sitting at a certain record. We'll go over the record at the end of the video because I don't want to spoil these because I'm not going to go in order. I'm going to go in order of how they were played or when they were played, not in order of what week it actually was. But going in, I was 3-2 with a +0 differential going into these 3 matches. Just sitting right about the middle of the pack. So hopefully we can pull out 3 wins from this set of matches. So let's go into the battle. So as you can see, well, you can't see because he changed his name, but TJG is stepping in as the coach, as the other 2 coaches were out, and we didn't want to put off this match for too long because it would have ended up being about 2 weeks until we could play it based on my schedule and their schedules. So it was kind of worth it just to kind of get this out of the way because otherwise we're pretty much at the end of the season at that point. And I think everyone was okay with this. TJG is, I'd say, just as good and as Survive and Gmars, so he'll hold down his own. But he told me a little bit ahead of time that he built this team to have a little bit of fun and trying to get some more unique sets going. We won't say meme sets, more unique sets. So I don't know what to expect, but I know that he's got the keys over there, and TJG loves his keys, as well as his Mega Beedrill. So those things are, I just can't wait to KO Klefki. That's like the one thing I want to do in this match. He brings the Dunsparce, which is super fun. Serene Grace, Glare Shenanigans with Headbutt. is always an annoyingly good time depending on which side you're on, as well as if you pair that with Iron Head, Excadrill. And then Venomoth, of course, set up Sweeper with Quiver Dance, and with Beedrill, you never know what he's exactly going to run. As we'll see, there's a few fun things that are going. You've already seen my team, so let's just get this rolling. I lead off with Zeph, as he reads off with his Klefki. I've got my Lumberry here just for this reason. I want to get rid of this just in case it's got light screens or light clay. Let's get this off. But he's got a Lagging Tail, which tells me he's switcheroo. But at least he can't do that anymore. But glad he didn't do it on the first turn anyway. This gives me a free switch down out into my Blossom because I don't want anything else to get Thunder Waved. And of course, the first Thunder Wave does get the full para. As he's setting out spikes. Don't mind that too much, just want to try and get some things off. He shows the Torment here, which is really cool, and I had to think for a second of what Torment did. But then I remembered it doesn't allow you to switch moves. So here, I get fully parried. Obviously, I'm not Giga Draining again. He expected me to go for the Sludge Bomb, I suppose. Maybe not expecting the Hidden Power, but I had gone for a Hidden Power Flying on that turn, which would have gotten a huge chunk of damage to Beedrill. But unfortunately it doesn't. He gets to go for the Mega Evolve. Here he Mega Evolves as I just switch out. Expecting like a U-turn or something as he goes for the Iron Defense. So he's got something interesting going on. But once I have Zeph in, it's pretty much a free Heat Wave because there's nothing that wants to switch in on that. Here I know he's going to go likely for the Glare, so that gives me a free switch back into Blossom since I'm already paralyzed. So I can go in and try to get him to go for a couple headbutts and then make a switch into hopefully Athena and begin setting up on this. He shows the Coil, which is quite frightening because that's going to start building up some defenses. But here I expect it. Well, he goes for the headbutt, which is really actually good for me. Here I'm expecting again another Coil or another headbutt, so I can make the switch now into Athena and set up my substitute. As he may or may not want to stay in, or he might go for the Glare. Glare doesn't go through substitute, so that'll give me a free sub, basically, as it does here. So perfect. We've got our Athena in behind the sub. We could set up a Dragon Dance here, but I just decided to go for the Sky Uppercut, start getting off damage. And that allows me to not take any unnecessary damage or anything from that. Sky Uppercut, resisted critical hit against the Beedrill does barely anything, so you can see that Athena's definitely not the strongest. But he sets up his Iron Defense as I go for Dragon Claw. It does a good chunk of damage, so I can just continue clicking this until either I get a crit or I just wear him down and I can come in with one of my other Mons with a little bit of priority as he goes out into his Janitorial Staff, the Venomoth Sweeper here, as I just continue to go for Dragon Claws, keep wearing him down, as he shows off now the super Z move of Z Teleport, which didn't know what that did until this moment, but apparently it fully heals you. So that's a nice little tech there. Not any better than Roost necessarily, but a little bit of fun anyway. But I'll just keep going for Dragon Claws because he's eventually going to get down to the 50-50 where he has to choose between a Bug Buzz or Sludge Bomb, and he gets it wrong, unfortunately. But fortunately for me, and I was kind of hoping he would go with that. But here he can go to Soul Draco. It's an easy drop a Draco for him. He's clearly, I'm Assault Vest, he's clearly choice specs, or at least modest, I didn't calculate it. He tries to switch out here, which gives me the pursuit damage that I need to get him down into priority kill range. As he goes into this, which hopefully is not Scarfed or set up. As it's not, sets up rocks that it's free switch into Zeph and 2 Heat Waves. I'll take it out. There's nothing on his team that can take a Heat Wave at this point. So I'm pretty much in here cleanly. Don't want to get KO'd here. I can still make some easy switches. There might have been some better plays I could have made in here to get it to the 6-0, but I'll take this anyway. Yeah, like here... there's not really much I could have done here. Maybe I could have gone back into Athena. Yeah, that would have worked. Anyway, I go for Sludge Bomb, get the 30% poison chance as a payoff for all the paralysis that I've gotten from him over the last 2 matches TJG and I have had. I'll take a little bit of karma, and I can just come in and clean up with Choice Scarf, Psy Shock, and take the 5-0 victory over the Seattle Scumlords and guest coach TJG here. So that was a good match for our team. We have like I said, a really good team matchup against a really good team matchup against the Seattle Scumlords. So I was feeling probably the best about this match, and going into it, I'm glad it was the first one anyway, to at least get it out of the way, and it came out really well. Usually I don't get the highest of differentials in matches, so getting a 5-0 to pad that stat a little bit more is going to be really helpful, looking towards a competitive playoff scene in Aether anyway. So yeah, let's get on to the next match. So that was Monday. On Tuesday, we were taking on Recon Jack and the Steel City Snorlax, or also known as David in more friendly terms. So David has taken over this team as... Who did he take this over from? Alinsco. When Alinsco dropped out of the league, Recon Jack stepped in to take this over. So big thanks to him for doing that. He's got one of the more interesting and kind of stellar team sigils here. I like it a lot anyway. But let's just take a look. So this was a team that I had a lot of trouble building with at first. So I didn't build, let's see, this was this week's match. Yeah. So I didn't get a chance to really look at it until a couple days beforehand. And I didn't start building at the time. Just kind of mulling over ideas. And just thinking about it, I was like, all right, this is actually like a really hard to counter team, and just looking at it, it looks like a just kind of a random assortment of different Pokemon. But once you start looking into their synergies, it actually gets really complex and very interesting very quickly, at least in terms of what my squad has to offer. But I've been thinking of trying to run a rain team all season, and when I was mulling it over and going through a bunch of ideas, I was like, actually, this is kind of the perfect time to run a Sweeper, Swift Swim, Seismitoad. There's not really anything on his team that can take the coverage of a strong Water type and Earth Power and a Sludge Wave. If we can chip down the Meltank, the Cryogonal, and the Gourgeist, there's nothing else that really wants to take any of those. Sucker Punch is really one of the things that we have to worry about, but beyond that, if we can do a little bit of chip damage, we should be able to sweep pretty well. We've got a good rain setter in Tornadus, and Latias can be a good rain setter as well. In that last move slot on Seismitoad, we can put Rain Dance on and just kind of go to town. So that's my thinking anyway. And so back at the team builder, just hop back and show you one more. David, there we go. Bringing the same bulky special sleeper, it's pretty solid against about half of his team. The other half it loses to, but it does a good job, especially with Mega Absol. Since I usually run like Play Rough, a couple Dark type moves, and usually the strongest Dark type attack it usually has is Knockoff, aside from Sucker Punch, and Sucker Punch has to play around Synthesis. Knockoff obviously can't take off the Venusaurite, so it's a pretty good check to Absol if it needs to be. Gladys, we have the Shuckaberry. If we need to take on, kind of surprise take on the Lando T, I can bring this as a lead and kind of take the lead with that. Set off rocks if I need to, or just go for the Ice Punch to KO. Since Clear Body bypasses the Intimidate, which is really nice. So that'd be kind of a double down situation, but it might be a little bit of fun. Bullet Punch, Earthquake, if we need to catch I doubt he would want to switch in Victini, but if we can catch Victini on the switch, we'll definitely go for it. Zeph, Hurricane Knockoff, U-Turn, Rain Dance. This is with the Damp Rock. We just want to set up Rain Dances and U-Turn out of there, or click Hurricane if we can. enough speed to outspeed whatever we need to outspeed. I'm guessing that would be the base 115 speed of Mega Absol. So as long as it doesn't Sucker Punch us, even Sucker Punch, I'm guessing we have just enough bulk to live, even though Absol's beastly on the attack side. But we can KO with a Hurricane, depending on if there's any HP investment there against Absol, and really does a good amount of damage to everything else, outside of like special defensive Skarmory. Next up is Lady Red. Finally get to run a little bit of a setup one, Calm Mind Recover, and then Dragon Pulse Thunderbolt hits pretty much the rest of his team for neutral, which is really nice, since Primarina is Water Fairy. We just need the Thunderbolt for that, so that's pretty good. Anyway, beyond that, we're running Colbur in case we get stuck in Pursuit Trapped or something by the Mega Absol anyway, so we don't lose things right away. I was thinking about running another Rain Dance on here, but decided to go without, as well as running Thunder, but again, I didn't want to get stuck trying to rely on a Thunder outside of Rain, so I went with the safer call of Thunderbolt anyway. Next up is Big Mama. This is a set that I've wanted to run for a while, and really I had the rest of this team built, and it pretty much was perfect for countering David's squad, so I had an open spot to run something a little bit more fun. So I decided to run the slower, worse version of Dragon Dance of Z Yawn plus Power Up Punch. So Power Up Punch obviously gives you +1 attack. Z Yawn gives you a boost of +1 in speed, as well as giving it the normal effect of Yawn, so you can force a switch out. And then I have Drain Punch Facade with Scrappy, so I'm not totally walled by Gourgeist. Actually, this set does really well against Gourgeist because of the Scrappy. And if you get burned, you can just Facade away or Power Up Punch to set up a little bit more. Run enough speed to outspeed something at +2. I think like Scarfed. I don't remember. There's something in the speed calculation that I needed. What does he have? Jolteon? There, enough at +1 to outspeed Jolteon. Yeah, that's what it was. And really, this is, hopefully it gets, a KO or puts on a little bit of pressure. Does a little bit of that chip damage that I need, especially since I do need to chip down either a Miltank or a Gourgeist. This is kind of what Big Mama is there for anyway. And last but not least is Toadette, the hopefully star of this game, my special sweeper at 252 modest. We actually have enough speed to outspeed a choice Scarfed Victini, so that's basically everything you would need to outspeed on his team, since you're probably not running choice Scarf on Jolteon, unless he's running Quick Feed, Hidden Power, Grass. It's really the only place we have trouble. So yeah, that's thoughts on that team. Let's get into this battle anyway. So yeah, we have it here. No Gourgeist. Looking at his team, we just need to chip down the Miltank. Primarina needs to be chipped down a little bit. Everything else gets KO'd in the rain by Surf. So as long as we can do that, we should be good to go. We have to watch out for Sucker Punch from the Absol. If we get hit by a Sucker Punch, it does something like 45 to 50% based on the investment that I have. So hopefully we can be above that when that comes into play. Other than that, looking at leads, likely Lando lead, really anything that he leads. I'm not expecting him to lead Victini, though he might, so I decided to just lead off with my Mega Venusaur. And we'll see what happens. So leading off with Mega Venusaur, I had calced this way back that this thing knows Psychic, but I kind of forgot about it in the moment and take a massive Psychic here, but that gives me the chip damage that I need for later on. Unfortunately, we don't get the poison and the knockout right away, but that's okay. Here, I should have probably just attacked again because there's nothing I can really heal up against. At the range that I was at, everything else is faster than me and can just KO. So really Sludge Bomb would have been a better play, but he goes out and to a nice play of expecting my switch. Wow, I'm way behind already. Expecting my switch into Metagross on the Primarina, which is a good call because I'll take a Psychic or Moonblast fairly well. I would not necessarily like to take a Hydro Pump or Surf or Scald, but I'll take that switch anyway. Since he doesn't pursue Trap Me on the next turn, goes for Knockoff. I'd decided to go into Big Mama here because it's the most expendable thing. Counters fairly well, as well as yeah, I've got the normal Z, so counters it well. And he switches out as I go here for the Drain Punch to try and get a little bit of HP back if he switches into anything else. No luck here. But I can expect maybe an Earthquake or Stealth Rock. I can go into Lady Red because I got speed, but that doesn't work out so hot. And I just get trapped here, and the U-turn knockout combined with knockoff does take me off, even with the Colbur Berry, because, super attack. That gives me a chance to, here we go. Let's set up the rain and see what sort of pressure we can put on here. So free U-turn right here, because he's slower than me. I'll go back out into Big Mama, because I do need to chip this down a little bit more. So here I go for the power-up punch. Get that little bit of chip that I needed. Drain Punch might have been a little bit better. He sets up the rocks, which is a good play to try and wear down that Tornadus T a little bit more. Going for the Z Yawn. Here we are, +2. Let's put on a little bit of pressure anyway. He goes for the Body Slam. Doesn't get it, unfortunately, because I would have liked a little bit of extra power on my Facade. But that's okay. I can go for a Drain Punch here. Pick off a little bit of a kill, a little bit extra HP. Make him switch out into Spirit in the Sky, which gives me a free switch into Toad and basically a free KO because I've got 2 turns of rain and nothing wants to take 2 Surfs on his team. So he goes into Meltank, which is his 1 remaining check to Toadette. So here I can just fire off a pair of Surfs, get on out of there, and I'll just have to set up the rain on anything but Jolteon later on, and I'll be good to go. So he goes here. I can just go out and sack Venusaur onto whatever he wants to do, provided he doesn't set up a substitute, which thankfully he doesn't. But here, that gives me a free switch into Torn. Even a Psyshock I can take, so that's a free Rain Dance. Here I don't want to switch and take an attack, and I don't want to take a Sucker Punch later on, so I can scout for that. But Hurricane just knocks me out. I want to go for a slow U-turn here to ensure the game. So he goes for Shadow Ball, and with 6 turns of rain left because of Damp Rock, or 5 turns, it's just 3 easy Surfs. He's got nothing with priority, nothing that can outspeed me as long as he doesn't have any Water Berries. What is that, a Pasho Berry, I think? We should be good. So this is one of the first matches in a while where I've come in with a game plan to sweep with something, and it's actually worked out. So that was really nice. Obviously, if you were watching some of the comments, you can see that he didn't expect this at all. So it's always kind of rare that you actually catch somebody off guard that well. But sometimes it works out. Even with this, it would have been hard for him to counter with the team that he has. But there are certain ways. But hopefully with my team building, I would have been able to play well around that. And through 2 matches in a couple days, we're 2-0 with a +8 differential, bringing our overall record to 5-2 and +8. So it's looking really nice for the Eon Twins. So one more match. Let's get into that one next. So here we have the Exter Chief Electivires. New Melantosh joining the league, stepping in for Frosty. So big shout outs to Melantosh for joining in and taking over this team because we really needed it. It's always a bummer to have a coach drop out mid-season, and it's really nice to have someone fill in. And from what I've seen, he's got a YouTube channel where you can watch his battles, and he's got a few different league matches or leagues that he's been in. And Melantosh, I've come up with a nickname for you. We'll see as you get into the league what you prefer to be called. Melon here, he looks like he's a pretty good battler. He's got good records on Showdown and stuff, so It's been a while since I've been in a match with somebody I've never seen play or play before in the league format. So we're going in a little bit blind in this one. So it's going to be a lot of fun. At least that was my thoughts going in. With the changes he made to this team, he got a really powerfully offensive core to start out with. Tapu Koko, well, I mean, Mega Pinsir is just a beast with that aerial 8 swords dance. And then it's got good coverage beyond that with close combat and Earthquake. In this match, we can expect likely the Earthquake to come based on our team. So that makes it a little bit easier to plan for. Reuniclus is always an underrated threat. Surge Surfer. Raichu getting that extra speed with the electric terrain set up by Tapu Koko is always a nice combo, as well as since you can run Specs with Life Orb to get it a little bit of that extra punch that it's missing otherwise. The rest of his team is just kind of nice. Golbat's annoying. Jardigon's meh. I've used it before. It's okay. Blaziken's good where it is. Trevenant can be good, and Vigoroth is his last one, which we haven't seen in the league before, so I'm excited to see if he uses it in the season. But yeah, that's the team. I'll go over mine just briefly for you. Melintosh. Game plan for this one. Here we go. Same bulky special. Again, thought about a few different things. Always go back to the old standby. Giga Drain, Sludge Bomb, Synthesis. And this time our coverage move is Knockoff, so we can hit that Reuniclus a little bit harder if we need to. Kind of knock off an item, leftovers or Life Orb, depending on what it's running. Pandora wants to stop by for a little bit. So yeah, it's just it's good in general. You know, there's nothing ever wrong. It does a good job against Tapu Koko and a few things he wants to bring. Donphan or it does really well against Azumarill as well. Provided you're not running Sap Sipper, which why would you run Sap Sipper except for, surprise, but far inferior to either of its other abilities, right? It's both thick fat and huge power, which thick fat's nice, but not necessarily on something that resists ice and fire already. So huge power is what you need. That was a weird aside about Azumarill, the God Slayer. But anyway, Electric Field is probably going to be the main player in this match, mostly because it's my check to everything and anything that Pinsir wants to do. So really is going to be essential to keep it healthy until we get rid of that Pinsir. So that is... Sorry, cat. Yeah, that's going to be really essential. Anyway, it also does a pretty good job against everything else that I've mentioned so far in this video. Tapu Koko, Azumarill, Donphan, even does a pretty good job against, if he does decide to bring the Golbat. Anyway, yeah, enough about that. Wasn't running, I decided to run Adamant instead of running a defensive variant because why not? Let's just run bulk. Everything doesn't 2-hit KOS anyway. And at +2, a return, I believe, does. Close combat, definitely 2-hit KOs. Return might be a roll. I think I have enough bulk for it anyway. Next up is Zeph, bringing an offensive version of Torrenti this week. Regenerator, Life Orb, Hurricane, Heatwave, Dark Pulse. Hit everything for neutral to super effective damage, and then U-turn with enough speed to outspeed base 110s, I guess would be what it would be for. So that would be enough to outspeed the Alolan Raichu outside of electric terrain, I think. We have another setup. I'm glad that we finally have a match where I can bring this. So he doesn't have anything that... maybe he does. I won't say it necessarily. But Dragon Pulse Psyshock gives me almost perfect coverage against his team, so I can run Calm Mind Recover with the Soul Dew, that nice and pseudo Life Orb, Dragon Plate Twisted Spoon combo thing. What is it? Dragon Fang, I guess, would be the normal, the not played version of that. Anyway, enough speed to outspeed base 105s. So that would be Mega Pinsir. So make it rely on using return. And hopefully we can set up a Calm Mind on some switch and start taking out some chunks of damage on his team anyway. Next up is Gladys, running Meteor Match, Bullet Punch. Hits everything fairly strongly since most of his resists don't like taking the physical damage that Meteor Mash is going to be pushing out. His water type is part fairy, so at least I hit it neutral. Rock Slide allows me to KO the Pinsir from wherever it's at because of the quad effectiveness, as well as our Adamant base 135 attack. We have the Shucka Berry to take an Earthquake. I think at that point it does somewhere around 40 to 50%. Probably should have remembered my calc a little bit better on that. But allows us to take an Earthquake since he's likely going to be running Earthquake. Close combat wouldn't make a ton of sense. And then Stealth Rock is our filler move in case we can set that up and begin chipping down that really anything on his team. If he obviously Tapu Koko likes to Volt Switch or U-turn around, so taking a little bit of 12% chip damage every time it comes in would be really nice. But we'll see if we get rocks up. If not, no big deal. Next up is our choice batted Entei. This is kind of our get out of sticky situations with extreme speed Pokemon. It's pretty much a standard set with the HP, with the speed swapped into the HP, because there's nothing really that is around base 100 that we necessarily need to outspeed. Just thinking on his team quick. Yeah, I think that's right anyway. So we're likely going to be running either wanting to take a hit or wanting to just extreme speed something with our choice band. If we can chip down his team well enough, that should be okay. Yeah, game plan. Kind of take hits with Electric Feel and Blossom. Maybe do some little bit of extra damage, chip damage with Zeph, and then set up and chip up so we can either take things out with priority Bullet Punch or priority Banded Extreme Speed. That's going to be the game plan anyway. We'll see how it goes. So let's get into the match. Here he's got the Surge Surfer Alolan Raichu, which could be a problem depending on what goes down. Reuniclus is always scary, as can be Blaziken. I haven't seen Blaziken in a while, so I don't remember exactly what it could run. Life Orb or something, or maybe a berry. Who knows? We'll find out when we get into the match. Pinsir is there, as is the Tapu Koko. And those are both, fast threats that can do a lot of damage anyway. Looking at my team, I decided to just kind of lead out with my Venusaur, because hopefully I can just get off a good chunk of damage on whatever he wants to send out initially. We'll see what happens from there. Let's play normal. So we get out, our Mega Evolution. I wanted to, actually no, we don't Mega Evolve. I wanted to scout for the Brave Bird. Probably wasn't the smartest play. He wouldn't have Brave Birded right away because he would have just lost his Tapu Koko immediately, which he needs for the electric terrain. So it was kind of a silly switch, and probably I could have made a better switch into something else, but I wanted to keep Electros pretty healthy. He goes out into Blaziken, which gives me a pretty safe switch into Lady Red here, and gives me the chance to set this up and go for a strong Dragon Pulse. I take very minimal damage from that Shadow Ball, since he's likely running a little bit of bulk. Usually they run like a defensive set, not much special attack investment. But I can take those all day, so that gives me a free recover as he actually switches out, which is really nice. I go for a Psyshock. As he decide, I don't know why he just switched out his Tapu Koko right away anyway. I guess because he wouldn't have been able to take me off with whatever he has. Here I find out that his Blaziken is actually scarfed after I take down the Reuniclus, but I somehow survive a knockoff. I guess I was at, almost full health, so that makes a little bit of sense, and that's 2 KOs. There's nothing here that I can outspeed. in case he has Ice Shard. So there's no reason in necessarily keeping this around. And I don't want to let him get off a free Swords Dance. So I can go out into Electric Field and go for a free Volt Switch. If he wants to go into his Donphan, I can just Giga Drain it. Here I go into Blossom and see what he wants to go for. He goes for a Volt Switch as I just go for a Sludge Bomb, trying to get off a ton of damage on whatever I can get off. So this I could have done earlier on in the game, but no luck. I still have my switch in for this, which is Electric Feel. As you can see, a return does like 38%, so super nice that we can take that. We've got the leftovers to start healing things back. I can go for a free Flamethrower to get off a chunk of damage on whatever wants to kill me in. Here comes the Donphan. That gives me a Giga Drain, but he's running the Rindo Berry, which is a good tech. He's new to the league, and he's already running berries, so obviously berries are just good in whatever league you're in, let's be honest. It's not just a Reddit Battle League thing, or Reddit Berry League. But that's a good tech. It allows him to get his Stealth Rocks up, which could come into play later on. Here, there's not, I'm not exactly sure what he wants to go for. So I unfortunately take 50%, which could come into play later. But that gives me a switch into Blossom, as he goes for a Volt Switch again, giving me a free Sludge Bomb, as I'm apparently, still scary here. That goes for Mayhem. He's obviously setting up for the sweep with his Raichu. I've been watching, and the terrain's been ending after 5, but I also I'll have to look this up later on how Terrain Extender works, but I figured it was like Damp Rock or something, but I think he might have had Terrain Extended on here. Anyway, I have 5 Mons left, and I'm thinking I have 4 turns, so there's no way that he can sweep me with this. Going into, here, let me pause that quick. Going into Electric Field there was a little bit of a wrong play. I thought that I could live a Psychic, but I forgot that it wasn't Assault Vest, and Assault Vest is a little bit bulkier. Then obviously a lot bulkier against Psychics and special attacks than just the Leftovers variant. I think I was just outside of a range where it would have been a roll, depending on what nature he's running. But here I can go into Gladys. I just need to get a little bit of chip with Bullet Punch, and then I can KO. I just need to get him down below 85%, and Extreme Speed is a guaranteed KO. So he's done at 76, so I can just go into Entei and now just go for the free E-Speed and take him out. Without that, if Electric Terrain had gone down, I outspeed him with Torn T. If Electric Terrain is still up, then he definitely wins, unless he doesn't take out Kieran. I'd have to calculate what he would do under Electric Terrain with Thunderbolts against max HP. It might be close, but I generally overestimate. Well, Kieran doesn't have a ton of special defense, and I might be underestimating Alolan Raichu a little bit, especially with Electric Terrain up. Anyway, we get our 3rd victory in 3 days over Melintosh in his inaugural RBL match. So really well played by him. He's going to be scary with this team going forward. There's a lot of good threats on there, and he's clearly a good player who knows how to keep his win cons in order, keep his Electric Terrain up by keeping Tapu Koko alive. He's played Terrain before, clearly, and he knows how to work it. He made maybe one misplay with not going for knockoff earlier with Blaziken. But other than that, I think he played a pretty flawless match. And it really came down very close at the end. But that gives us a 2-0 victory. Puts our overall record at 6-3 with a +10 differential. 6-3, 6-2 with a +10 differential. And that gets us right on the cusp of the playoff picture. I mean, we're in 2nd place now. We just have to keep kind of plugging away at the season. There's only 3 weeks left. It'd be great if we could get up to 9-3, but I'll take 7 wins. Sure. I mean, I've ended with 7 wins so many seasons before. Let's make the goal 8. Let's try and go 2-1 in the next couple matches. We've got a couple teams that are around us coming up with the Glasgow Glalie and the Atlanta Altarias. So those will be good, and then we finish up with Nadries and the Chicago Cyndaquil. Um, so yeah, I think we can definitely take at least one of those matches, and hopefully two of them. If you've watched it all this way, thanks for watching. This is Joseph. This video's probably been plenty long enough, so let's just sign it off here, and I'll hopefully see you in the future. All right, later days.